Hello, everybody. You can call me Hutch, and today we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin Lightning Network and how stablecoins will be moving on the Lightning Network more so than other, networks like Ethereum or Tron or whatever. So I'm going to reference Jack Mallers in this little video, but he also references Michael Saylor, how he says the US dollar will be the most popular currency in the world, and we should embrace Bitcoin because it can move on Lightning at the speed of light. Et cetera, right? He talks about, like I said, Tron and how it's the most popular because it's not used for, NFTs or whatever. It's used for the stablecoin application, right? So I think the stablecoin has way more demand than any, fluffy bunny JPEG, right? And so I think Bitcoin is going to be the biggest player in this space. And why is that? Jack Mallers talks about all the legal things he went through and how he's launching in 50 different countries this year, right? So here, let's dive on into the video. I'll talk about a few other things too in this video.
Right. And so what's interesting about a stablecoin, but I was able to give hundreds of thousands of Argentine citizens dollars. How? Because I distributed it through a consumer application via stablecoin.
But can they not block your app in the local app stores? Have they not?
No, I mean, so like I said, I mean, we invest a lot in legal, not because I'm a legal maximalist. It's because I want to launch the shit that I build. I want my opinions to live in the free market and exist. And so, no, we did everything that we were supposed to do to launch in Argentina. And so I just find that really interesting, is that like distribution of dollars, like Michael Saylor's talked about this all the time, is that like the US government shouldn't fear Bitcoin because Bitcoin over Lightning gives, and with a stable coin gives max distribution to meet the global demand for dollars. Okay,
so what he's saying there is he made his app Strike. It uses a stable coin, and it basically buys and sells Bitcoin instantaneously and moves it throughout the world, right? And so how he's doing that is going through the legal means, right? And if you know this channel, you know I've talked about Stacks before. I love Stacks because they went through the SEC. They did the legal things, right? At some point, like Ethereum is going to be regulated as a security. I think XRP is going to lose the trial and be regulated as a security, right? And the Bitcoiners are going through all the legal means, right? They're launching in every country. They go to the government. They get approved, right? You have to work within a framework, right? Everyone calls Bitcoiners these crazy anti-government people, but they're the only ones really living in reality, right? Who want to go through and go through legal means and have a framework. You have to live in a framework, right? Right. I mean, for example, roads, right? No, not just anybody can build a road going into the middle of nowhere, right? Roads are regulated and they go somewhere and they have standards, blah, 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 depending on the country you're in, right? And the ones that have the highest standards typically have less deaths on the road, products move more smoothly, transportation is better. Okay, so this is what Bitcoin is doing. So use that comparison. Now, what is everyone else doing? They're just like going, they're not getting approved for anything. They're all breaking the law. They have no legal framework, right? And this guy is launching Strike and getting hundreds of thousands of users onboarding into the Lightning Network. So if you listen to the whole podcast, he basically compared Bitcoin to like a peanut. And even if you're allergic to it, right, you can use the peanut to move money all over the world and never come in contact with the peanut, right? So it's a little more complex than that, but basically the demand for Bitcoin will be there even if you don't own Bitcoin. So first of all, we should probably stop shoving it in people's faces. And second of all, Lightning is the best way to do it because I'm going to go on to further explain it, right? So here's, I want you to look at a tweet that I made, right? And it says a stablecoin should never run on a centralized blockchain. Even if you have the slightest concern, it may be centralized. I'm looking at you, Luna, right? So Luna, I think, is basically a venture capitalist take on stablecoins. And they use the Luna to stabilize stablecoins, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's garbage. Decentralization, right, is the most important thing. I say this in all my videos. And if you can use the Lightning Network to run stablecoins, what is the point of all this? If the Lightning Network does smart contracts, what is the point of all this, right? All these things have got to go away. They're all like, most of them are, centralization is on a spectrum and decentralization on a spectrum. But Bitcoin is the standard. Most people agree Bitcoin is the standard for decentralization. I mean, even JP Morgan came out with a thing saying that it was more decentralized than Ethereum. So we should, as a community, adamantly reject the idea of stablecoins on centralized networks, right? It just makes total sense. And I tweeted a while back, I may have deleted it, but I basically said there was going to be a run on the bank. So everyone knows what's going on with Russia, okay? So if you look at some of the tweets from the main guys, these are basically all talking about how the ruble is going to collapse, right? And like this tweet is about a run on the banks, right? So there's people in line waiting to get their money out, right, at all the banks over Russia, and the ruble is going to collapse. And where are they going to go, right? It doesn't matter if they go to Bitcoin or if they go to the Lightning or US dollar, right? If we can win the US dollar coin on Lightning by promoting decentralization, right, we're going to win. Like, get Ethereum out of here. We don't want stable coins on these networks that are going to become centralized. We want to push Bitcoin, even if you don't own Bitcoin, right, because it's going to help these people. Right? They don't have to go through Western Union. They don't have to, you know, the banks, they can't even transfer money because banks are blocked from SWIFT, right? So we want to onboard people into Bitcoin through stablecoins and through Bitcoin is what I'm taking from this. This is just more information from reliable resources that transactions are clogged up. There's going to be a run on the banks. You know, I've said this before, and I think it's just blatantly obvious what is happening here, right? These blockchain networks are going to be the lifeblood of the new economy, right? We're tired of dictators and elites dictating how we build wealth, right? And my main concern is that we don't use the centralized network. We have to be very careful about what we're doing, right? For example, if US dollars are let me talk about this. For example, if US dollars are the most popular way to store your wealth, which it is right now, right? All over the world. El Salvador, the ruble's collapsing, right? Most people own US dollar denominated secure like bonds and things like that. Like China owns a crap ton, right? And we understand that you can make smart contracts on any platform, right? Lightning. Like, you could even make smart contracts on US dollar coins. Like, what is the point of Ethereum? The only thing that we need to be concerned about is what network these stable coins are running on. We don't need Ethereum to be money, right? All Ethereum is competing to do is run money, right? And what's best at running money? And to me, it's Bitcoin, right? Ethereum is not money. Bitcoin is not money at this point. It can be money in the future, right? But what we're competing for is where these stable coins are going to be running. And to me, decentralization is the most important thing, right? Because if you get a stable coin and then people start diluting it and then they start manipulating how the contracts work and all this, there's no point, right? We've already lost. We've lost all of our power. Cryptocurrency is about helping the little guy and stop being taken advantage of, right? So if you don't understand that, you don't understand crypto, and you probably should get out of it, okay? So I'm talking about you Ethereum maximalists. I'm talking about you Tron people. I'm talking about you Luna people. You all are crazy and have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not against innovation, but work on the network that is going to be a global standard. He talks about it in this podcast. He talks to all about it and how it's that important, right? So get your head off your buns and put on a swivel, baby. You can call me Hunch.